Hi there, Vicky here. So I am sorry, I've been gone for quite a bit. Had a death in my family, and family always comes first. But have a garden update for you. Lots happening. So let me show you around. Right, it is mid-June, and the tomatoes have certainly started to come in. These are the vernissage tomatoes, and I have been harvesting tomatoes literally every day just to keep ahead of pests and birds and whatever that might want to eat them, and just letting them ripen on the counter. So everything you see in here that is not totally green ripened since yesterday, because I pulled everything with a hint of color in it yesterday. Down below, these are Cherokee wax beans, and they actually germinated quite well. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how these are going. I planted them out now about, I don't know, a month ago, maybe. All right, next door, these are Gardener's Delight over here. I'm fairly certain. Gardener's Delight is a cherry tomato, and these feel about the right size for that. And then over here, I'm fairly certain are pink ponderosa is what those should have been. But these bushes have been producing, okay? Absolutely loving it. Same thing. Everything in here with any slight color is just from yesterday. I plucked this clean yesterday. And then down here, kind of hard to see, and I don't know if it will succeed, but I have tried to root a stem from Cherokee Purple is what that is. So we'll see. Now just today I did hit these with some all-purpose fertilizer and some bone meal. And you can see the flies are like loving it. But up here, these are the Cherokee Purple, and they kind of had just been plagued with issues. I have been adding bone meal. Today I also added crushed eggshells, but I cannot get rid of the blossom end rot. I have no idea. I even cut the stem where I discovered I had never thinned out that plant. So there were two right on top of each other, and I thought, well, maybe that's my problem, right? So I even cut the second plant all the way to the ground, removed it, but obviously I'm still struggling. I have been plucking all the bad fruit as soon as I see it to hopefully give the rest a chance to grow. I did get 2 ripe tomatoes from this plant so far. One had a really deep gash in it, and when I cut it, it just didn't seem right. So I don't know. The other one is currently ripening on the counter though. And then now I'll pluck that one too, but I think it's got a pretty deep gash on the top as well. There have been lots of birds, lots of insects, and the bunnies out in the garden. So certainly struggling with a little bit. That is a Blue Lake bush bean there in the corner. I had more beans, but they were completely like mowed down and eaten, which is fine. These are definitely the white currant tomatoes, although my personal opinion is they are certainly more yellow than white, but they have been stunning, delicious. My kids love these. We have eaten them fresh by the handful every day for the last several weeks. These are incredible. They're sweeter, in my opinion, than average tomatoes or like regular tomatoes. But man, these have been great. And there are tons of fruit on these bushes. And I have also been picking these every single day. Down below, I do have some royal burgundy bush beans, and you can see I do actually have a few little beans on there. I'll be picking those probably later this week. I'm just going to wait for them to get a little bit bigger. Much like the beans in the other bed, the ones I had here, which were 3 different varieties, got totally eaten down. You can see where the stems were, and one of them is coming back. So, I don't know. Cautiously optimistic. We'll see if more beans decide to survive. But we are loving these tomatoes. This is probably the favorite one that we have of the season so far. They've been stunning. Absolutely delicious. The grass has grown up so much I've lost my stairs, so I have to be a little careful. But here we've got the ground cherries, and these were doing much better. These 2 plants here got totally decimated by bunnies. The bunnies just came and had an absolute field day eating these. So it's disappointing, but the plants themselves don't seem to be suffering, and we are still getting ground cherries, so that's great. But they would have been at least the size of these plants here, if not way bigger. I mean, these were stars, but they'll come back. And we have really been enjoying the ground cherries. This was a new crop to me this year. Never had heard of them before, certainly had never grown them, but they're sweet, and yeah, we love those. Here we've got peppers and parsley and onions. You can see the flies love these too. I'm open to suggestions if anyone knows what to do about some flies. We got horses and a farm behind our house, and gosh, there's flies everywhere. But I do have my first few little peppers. So there's one there, and there's one there. So I'm very excited. I did also give these some bone meal and eggshells today just to ward off any potential issues. I want to make sure that, you know, that's gonna be all right. In that little container, I've got 2 tomato plants which are finally starting to produce. You might not remember, but much earlier in the season, I had failed to put a cage or anything around these, and they got snapped off almost to the ground, and they came back, and now they are making tomatoes. It's incredible. So very excited about this, and the way that these plants have grown, it's providing shade for the basil underneath. So the 3 basil plants that are also in there are actually producing all of my basil right now. So yes, this is working out wonderfully. Over here, this is okra, and I'm very pleased with its growth. I did lose 1 plant, and I've been meaning to reseed that because it's certainly not too late in the season to do so, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But these are doing great. I've got my first blossoms, which means that my first little okra will be here soon. Got several blossoms forming. So yes, I'm pretty excited about these. Okra is certainly one of my favorite vegetables, so yeah, can't wait. And then down here, this is the watermelon. And I've also had trouble with my watermelon vine, so I had planned on letting them trail into the tall grass over this, like cascade over the side of the bed and trail into the grass. When they started doing that, they got eaten. Everything that was hanging over the bed got eaten. So I like to blame the bunnies, but it certainly could have been bugs. But despite that, I do have this watermelon, which is growing quite well. And just today I noticed I got one on the other plant too. So I have one of each of the varieties, which if both of those will grow to maturity and I can actually eat those watermelons, I will be happy with what has happened here. I did, the last time we talked, there were those Brussels sprouts that were in this bed. I had pulled them up because they were not doing good. I literally just left them on the side of the bed for weeks. They did not die, and they started making Brussels sprouts. So I replanted them yesterday. I'm going through this week in an exercise to help with some nutrient deficiencies perhaps, and also help with some moisture retention as we get into the hotter parts of the summer. And I'm adding manure and mulch to the bed. So when I did that yesterday, I just replanted those, and I'm curious to see what will happen. I did try to start some more blue lake beans all in the back, and I got awful germination. Only 2 of them have sprouted. So there's this one, and there's that one there in the back row, and that's it. But I put like 16 beans in here. So yeah, that didn't quite work out, but I do have the 2. So we'll see. Then here, this is either squash or zucchini, but these plants are horribly stunted in their growth, in my opinion. Now, I put the seeds out more than a month ago. It has been hot, and I feel they like hot weather. So I did think maybe there was a nutrient deficiency. As you can see, some of these leaves are quite yellow. So I did give them fertilizer, and then I've given them manure and the mulch, and I do think it has helped. Just looking at sort of the comparison in the leaf color, I think that has helped. We'll see. But I have in the past grown squash and zucchini with great success. I am utterly confused at what is happening here. And so whichever one that is, if that's squash, then this is zucchini. And again, I just think it is horribly stunted. Now, I do think that this marigold is shading out the one in the back, but still, even the ones getting the most sunlight are just so small. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how they respond to what we've done this week, and hopefully we'll see some better progress, because wow, disappointing. Yeah, disappointing. All right, over here, I gotta be careful not to fall over. Whoa. This is cucumbers in the back, cucumbers all along the back, and this is autumn squash here, kind of in the forefront. Now, my plan for this is also to let it trail over into the grass, because I don't have anything for these to trellis on. I just don't know how well that's going to work. But I have in the last 2 days seen a dramatic change from that fertilizer and the manure. I mean, look at the difference in the health of these leaves. So I do think that was the right choice, and I'm pretty excited about that. My cucumbers, much like everything else that hit the grass, did get broken off. You can see a lot of the plants have that breakage on them. Now that I have something for them to climb on, I'm hopeful that will resolve and it will fix itself. And I did spot today when I was watering my first couple cucumbers. So this one, I'm fairly certain will go. I might hand pollinate it real quick, actually, just to make sure that we're gonna have success. Here we go. But so we'll see about that one. And then over here, there was one. Let's see if it actually survived. Oh, well, there's a couple, but they haven't bloomed yet. So we'll just keep an eye out on those. And there's another one there, hasn't bloomed yet. So the other one that bloomed must not have gotten germinated. Yeah, I don't see any blooms on these. But I am feeling pretty confident that we will be getting some cucumbers successfully on these in the near future. So that's exciting. And one of my Swiss chard, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there, just there, has survived despite being sort of overtaken by the squash. So that's funny. I'm gonna see if it will live. And then last but not least, this bed was holding broccoli until yesterday. I finally took the broccoli out. It had started flowering and never produced a head. I did on one of the plants get a very small, what could have been cut as an offshoot, almost just like this big, broccoli that started forming, but then it immediately bloomed. So I was like, oh man, I think it just didn't have enough nutrients to get big enough before it got hot. So anywho, I have replaced with beans, and as you can see, I got a lot of good germination here for these beans. I think I planted 24, and quite a few of them have come up. They're all bush beans. Very excited about this. And this is a squash here, but it has not grown in an embarrassing long amount of time. I don't know. I planted it out in April. Okay, so it's like 2 months. So hopeful that the fertilizer and the manure will help with that. I also did get some liquid fertilizer that is supposed to be whatever the squash need. I can't remember at the moment, but we'll see. These are the herbs. They're doing pretty good. The flowers are still well beyond what I should have done. I should have started these inside in January like everything else, but I didn't. And these herbs I just picked yesterday. So yeah, this is all going very well. But I'm going to go get to picking the tomatoes before I run out of sunlight. It's already pretty dark. But yeah, here's a little update. Just to give you an idea, these are the tomatoes that I picked on Sunday. It's Tuesday, so this is Sunday's harvest. You can see I'm letting them ripen here all the way on the counter. So this was Sunday, except for what we've already eaten, of course. Pardon the mess, life. This was yesterday's. See? And then this is everything I just picked for today. So I definitely need to get a system going for where I'm going to put these until they are ripe and ready to store. I think I need to put a little card table in here, but isn't that incredible? 3 days. 3 days. I just can't believe it. These are so good. We've been eating loads of those. They're delicious. So I figured we could keep chatting while I kind of get some stuff put up here. I have some of the tomatoes from Sunday that I'm gonna put in this green bowl, and I'm gonna tell the kids that if it's in the green bowl, they can eat it. And what I will plan to do is every day go through the green bowl and freeze what they don't eat. But these kids have been ravenous for the tomatoes, especially the little yellow ones. They have been literally grabbing anything that is even close to this color, unless I'm over here telling them, hey dudes, don't eat that. It's not ripe. So yes, absolutely loving it. And it's been really encouraging because my littlest one, he's kind of a picky eater, and he has not been shy with the tomatoes. Not quite sure when this one's gonna be ripe. This is the Cherokee Purple. I feel like this green part up top needs to get less green. Um, but yeah, the little one has eaten everything. He loves the ground cherries. They both do, which is why you don't even see any of those on the mat, because they will eat it. They will eat it. I have gotten a few of the pink ones into the freezer, the pink and the Gardener's Delight. And maybe one or two of the Vernissage as well. But these little yellow ones, absolutely not. As soon as I tell the boys they can eat it, they do. And that is just outstanding. And if any of you out there have picky eaters, I'm confident you can relate to me on this. I'm just grabbing the tomatoes from yesterday. They do need to be washed. The kids were trying to eat these today. I'm like, dude, it hasn't even been washed yet. Calm yourself. But I love that. That's such a good problem to have. That they want to eat them. And I knew the tomatoes would be a pretty good hit at the house because whenever I would buy them, they would get eaten. Like if I bought cherry tomatoes from the store, or if I bought Roma tomatoes, those are really the only ones I would buy. And the kids would devour it. Anything I served them in terms of tomatoes, they would eat. So I knew that the tomatoes were gonna be a hit, but I did not know how big of a hit they were gonna be. Ooh. No, it's starting to blush. I was just thinking this one might have been a little too green, but it's starting to blush. I have let both of my kids help me pick tomatoes as well, which has led to a few being picked so green that they could not ripen on the counter. But honestly, I would rather have that and have them introduced to it and have the experience of it any day, you know? That has just been so fun. It's mostly the white currant that they've picked a little prematurely, which is fine. So these are some of the ground cherries from yesterday, and I'm confident as soon as they see these, they will eat them. I was getting like a handful of ground cherries a day, I kid you not, until the bunnies ate my bush. Probably shouldn't have phrased it like that, but I've been very disappointed in the bunny situation. There we go. All right, so now that I've gotten yesterday's squared away, I'm gonna work on today's harvest. Playing cards, I lost. And I know this is extra, okay? Like I know I'm being extra, but for me, I want to know how well the garden has done, not just from my personal impression, which right now my personal impression is, oh my gosh, the tomatoes are doing so good, right? But from a quantifiable standpoint. And so, at least at the moment when I have time, I've been kind of extra about it. And every day I've just been sort of sorting the produce to see what I got and how much it is. Now, what I will say is, it's kind of hard to tell what some of the tomatoes are because they're all so small. And I think that is probably something I have done. Oh man, I don't know about this one. It has got some deep gouges here at the top. How disappointing. Anyhow, I'll let it ripen. We'll see. I don't know. But they're also small. And I think that could be because of how I've pruned them. It's also certainly possible that it's part of the varieties that I got. Like, I know the Gardener's Delight is a cherry tomato. I know that the White Currant, obviously, are small. But like the Pink Ponderosa, which I think these are, I really expected to be bigger. And some of them are, which is why I feel pretty confident in saying that these are the Pink Ponderosa. But I thought these were going to be like a slicing tomato, not like a cherry tomato. Let's see. They're pretty similar in size. So I'm kind of guessing, but the ones that I'm confident on is the vernissage. They have these lines on them, which is just super distinctive. So I always know that's what those are. And I do recognize that this is probably looking quite green. It has started to blush, and as soon as it starts to blush, it will ripen the rest of the way on the counter. I pick them like this because of pest issues. I've had several issues with birds. I've actually also found some slugs on some of them, which is something I do not have experience in. I've never had noticeable slugs in my tomatoes. I wonder if it's the tall grasses that are doing that. But I, for these reasons, want to make sure that I'm able to get as much of my harvest as I can. And so I'm picking them as soon as they have any color. This is not a new tactic to me per se. When I was growing up, my grandmother grew tomatoes and she always had a row of, you know, green like this to yellow to orange ones on her windowsill just sitting. So the concept is not new to me. I have seen this done. It is familiar to do it like this. But in the past, when I personally have grown tomatoes, I have never picked them before they were at least like this. So picking them so soon is something new to me in that regards, but they are ripening on the counter within 3 or 4 days. So I'm not overly concerned that I'm like wasting it or something by doing that. And I do feel that I am saving some that otherwise would not make it to be ripe enough to eat. I also have spiders living in the tomatoes. Found that out the hard way today. Put my hand directly in one. So yay for me. That's one of the ones with the blossom end rot. Continuing to be disappointed with that. There's one in here with bird damage too. I need to find it. It's gonna be probably the greenest looking one. The bird had eaten half of it. So I went ahead and picked it. Ah, here it is. See? So yeah. Which is okay. I mean, look at how many I'm successfully getting, even with birds taking a little munchy munch on it. Cannot complain. All right. And then it doesn't look like I carried the spider inside. So yay. these are the little white currant tomatoes. And they are so cute. Now I have been on these in particular, sort of before I let the kids have them, inspecting them to see if any of them have split. These were the plants that had the slugs. And because these are so small, I mean, all it takes is, you know, one rainy day and a good number of these guys end up splitting in half. Which isn't really a problem if I were to be out there right away when they split. But knowing that the slugs are there too, I'm just, yeah, I don't want to eat them if they've been exposed. So I'm just gonna write down the count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. And then I write down the weight for each variety. Next year, I think I will plant fewer varieties because I do want to make room for Roma tomatoes next year. And I want to know which varieties produce well and which ones I like to eat. So this is 12 vernissage. Kind of scoot them over here now that they've been. So I was 12 tomatoes with 14.7 ounces. So they're just over a little over an ounce each. And these I was expecting to be smaller. My sister grew them last year and she told me they were small. So that is not unexpected. Next we will do the Cherokee Purple. There's only one of those. And it is 3.7 ounces. But I'm also gonna, oop, there's a mosquito. If it flies back over here, I'm gonna squish it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm already feeling discouraged with these. So this will be the second one that I have gathered that have these deep cuts in it, which maybe I can cut around and it will still be good. But the last one I could not. It's like it was rotten on the inside. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that that's gonna make the cut for next year. How about we say that? And then we've got these, the pink. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, miscounted. And I think I need the basket. So we'll reset. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And it's 15.7 ounces, but we've got such wildly different sizes on these guys. I mean, look at this. This one versus this one. Neither of them are particularly big, but this one is significantly bigger in size, which is just wild. But because of the shape of some of these smaller ones, that's why I feel like it's not the cherry tomato. It's not the gardener's delight. Also, this has given me some really fun ones. I love it when they look like random little pumpkins or whatever. All right, so there's those. And then we'll put our basket back on for the gardener's delight. Oh, I forgot to count. Whew, can you tell it's late at night? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Woo! 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And this is 14.8 ounces. And this is Gardener's Delight. And then I am gonna note the Cherokee Purple. I had one more with the end rot. And I had one with bird damage on the Gardener's Delight. I'm kind of trying to keep track too with the losses on the tomatoes, because I think that will inform what I do next year. For instance, I have not had any blossom end rot on any tomato plant except for the Cherokee Purple. Even within that bed, that one bed has 4 plants. Half of the plants have it, half of the plants don't. They're getting the exact same stuff in terms of sunlight, in terms of, you know, they're just getting, oh, no. Had a runner. Oh no. Sorry. In that same bed, they are getting the same sunlight, the same nutrients, the same fertilizer, the same water. How 2 of the plants gonna have it and 2 don't? You know, it's just so frustrating. White currant is 3.4 ounces. I have not been counting these because of course they're just so small. And then my precious little ground cherries are so small. We've got 6, and it's 0.2 ounces. They're very small, but they're very fun. We have really enjoyed these. So that is the haul for today. We've got, don't hold me to this math, okay, but it looks like we've got about 3.5 pounds of tomatoes. So I think that's pretty good for one day. This week marks the first time I will be able to really start planning for making sauces and things out of the tomatoes. So I'm very excited about it. I'll do my best to bring you along. Thank you so much for hanging into the end of this video. I am sorry it has been so long, and hope to talk to you again soon. Toodaloo.